Now at 5:30, not even the rich and famous can avoid a San Francisco car break-in. This time, a thief made off with a small fortune from a visiting baseball star. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Cook.
I'm Alan Martin, and Phil Mateer joins us now to tell us how retired Yankee shortstop A-Rod became the latest victim.
That's right. Well, it's a common story. You know, a tourist comes to San Francisco and loses all their valuables when thieves break into their rental car. Only this time, the victim was a very famous baseball player, and they got away with quite a lot of loot. $500,000 worth. How's that sound? I'll say it again. $500,000 worth. The thief smashed the window of A-Rod's black rental SUV sometime between 9 and 11 o'clock last night, and they took jewelry and electronic, computer equipment, laptops, cameras, basically anything and everything they could find. It happened where A-Rod had left his car on the 400 block of Brandon Street, a nice area just a few blocks from Oracle Park, where he had been broadcasting the Giants game against the Phillies. Witnesses knew something was up because of the massive police response for a simple car break-in. Only it turns out that this is not all that simple. A-Rod was in town last night, as I said, for the ESPN broadcast, the Giants game, and it turns out that the cable network had rented the SUV for the former Yankee and the crew for his production company to get out there and have dinner after the game. And that's exactly where they wound up, at the high-end restaurant Marlowe, after the Giants beat the Phillies. But then A-Rod got beat in typical San Francisco fashion. He was the victim of yet another car break-in.
But who travels with $500,000 worth of stuff?
$500,000 worth of jewelry and computers and this and that.
Yeah.
Hey, be lucky the wife, J-Lo wasn't in town as
Well,
well.
right,
Okay,
she didn't come
a
with
lot
him.
of times she
Another.
goes with him.
Yeah.
But
$2 million.
look at the response. This got an incredible amount of response. Top priority by the police department. They've already sort of sealed it up and calling it a confidential case. They've got everybody from the top down, and they're, you know, considering that there's 62 car break-ins a day in San Francisco, right? And I mean, 11,000 for the first half of this year. Most people, they're lucky if any cop shows up, and usually you fill
Sure,
it
They're never going to get
online.
their stuff back. Right.
They have bigger things to deal
Not
with.
everybody's car gets broken into is going to be the top of the news here, and it's going to make news all around the country. The mayor is not happy. The supervisor who represents the district says he feels for A-Rod and for the thousands of other people who've had their cars broken into. Needs more safety, more accountability. We'll keep you tuned. Meanwhile, break-ins of the stars continue, and it just goes to show.
Right, they've got to focus on it.
The thing is this, yes, because it's one thing if it's a statistic, but when you're that statistic, it's a whole different story.
That means everything. Right.
It's a very violating feeling. Yeah.
All right, Phil. Thanks.